translate it.
We're ready.
Okay.
Rolling.
Yeah, so can you say something about when the 16th Karmapa visited Lolland?
Well, I can say quite a lot because it was the first retreat center we had in the West at that time. And he was he was very glad about it. He saw it as a very good sign. He said that from here 1,000 Buddhas will fly into space, you know, he said. And he really liked it. And when we told him more of our history, the little place with Jim Scott where we had started off in the beginning, and then he heard about all the different ways, how a few people, you know, with little money, you know, and really lots of idealism, how they came in there and how we managed to build the whole thing up and so on. Then that was fantastic. Then afterwards, you know, of course we built the stupa with Tinker Rinpoche and so on, but that was the first day was Karmapa was there. He was there several days, and he really said this, because you know, you can not count Buddhas, they're like as an essence, right? But 1,000 people would, you know, would definitely be deeply inspired there.
And this is how you see it, that 1,000 Buddhas will fly from?
I think so, yeah. Actually, I have some history there also, because I came in before Karmapa came, and I thought the big barn which was there was not so nice. So I took some really big machine, really big hammers and so on, and I took it away. I did a one-man job. You know, I couldn't stop. I love work like that. And there was I really took all that enormous building down and so on, and the pieces were falling this side and that side. I didn't care. I just felt we had to remove all the hindrances and get all the trouble away. And that was very nice. Came straight up from Germany and had some working clothes on. Said, let's take that away. But it was also a little stupid because then we had to have extra permit for it because it was down, right? So we had to ask more to rebuild, which we wouldn't have had if it was still standing. Then we could just build inside it, right? Because it was a big building, it was really high. But you never saw it at that time, did you? No. Well, that was early story, right? Yeah.
You saw the pictures?
You saw the pictures of the old one, yeah. Yeah, I took it down alone. Big hammer.
You have often said that Lolland Center would be a meeting place for Scandinavia and North Germany.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Look at the geography and so on. And okay, we still have to pay to cross from Scandinavia and up and down, right? But actually, I would say that it has, to most people in northern Germany, it's the clear place, and to all Danes it is, right? I don't know how strongly we got in with the Swedes, but I mean, Norwegians also, there are some, even though they have perfect nature, they like to come down and so on. But the main thing is, I would say that it is a meeting place. It is where we can bring many people together. And I said, Jumping Kongtrul Rinpoche gave an enormous row of initiations there, which was amazing, you know, where a lot of us were. And I mean, it got a very big solid place on the map, on the Buddhist map, you know, in Northern Europe very quickly. It was just really something waiting to happen. Then afterwards we had some limitations. We had a few limitations where we couldn't get enough room. The farmer wouldn't buy, wouldn't sell, you know. Or we didn't have much to buy with either. Like, but anyway, you know, they wouldn't sell.
Our lamas visited the place, and this has created a certain power field.
Tenga Rinpoche made a big thing with the stupa. That was fantastic. I had my head down there, arranging all the things, as he said, there. Most of the pictures there, you just see my feet, up in the air, and everything is down there and put here and there. And it was great, and the weather changed every quarter hour while we did it. Every quarter hour, the climate change, or the whole thing changed, that. Rain very quickly, then stop with rain, then sun, then wind, then again a little bit of rain and so on. It just changed all the time. It was very impressive. You could really see that an energy field was being built up there, that the local energies were reacting and saying, we like that, or we'll give a party or whatever, right? It was very nice. Really good.
But this power field that Lolland has, because all the lamas was there for so many years, what does it give somehow for practitioners?
People have good meditation. And people also get tough down there. I remember several of the courses I've given them myself. The weather changed extremely, in a very short time, and people acted with this beautiful view all over the place. One can really see how the different kinds of climate are moving in from all sides, and the lights and everything else, you can see it. And every time, people had very good results. Many people were sitting where they should actually be freezing, and they didn't notice it, or didn't feel it, or it didn't happen, or whatever. And all the time there was like some blessing on the place, and some good feeling that something that wanted us to be there, and also that we should. And it would be a place for people to get strong and get able to work. I thought that was a school also, very much a school. Mm-hmm. Also every time we were rebuilding the house, we were putting something more on, or straw on the roof and so on. All these different things, they were all somehow teachings. Mm-hmm. Even with this crazy student of Situ Rinpoche was sitting up there and was yelling that the monks were no good, the monks were not keeping their vows, and he was knocking on it, and people couldn't get them down, and then even at that time, I remember some people living there. One Lama stayed there also. We always had some very original people, highly original and very interesting, and the whole thing kept growing and moving and so on. It's like it has its own life. It's good.
And you started the summer courses, the tradition of
Yes, we did that until...
I think Rinpoche started to come to Europe every summer and have like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then one summer he couldn't come, and you took over, and this was somehow the first summer course.
Yeah, that's right. He came. Tenga Rinpoche, a great yogi. He just died about half a year ago, and he sat 6 days completely dead in deep meditation, and then he fell down. It's called Tudam. It means holding the mind in the essential place, in the heart center and so on. And that's good meditation. You die, and you keep sitting, and then 6 days. That's good going. Some of the old guys are just sitting there still, and so on. But they're propped up a bit and so on. But he was a good yogi. Very good yogi.
Coming back to summer courses.
Yeah.
The summer courses.
Yeah, somehow that the summer courses started there.
We've been doing. Summer courses started with him. I took over for a couple of years, but it was the main thing. And then during those years, we went from 200 centers around the world to 600, 700 centers around the world, right, as we have now. So I had to... There was the same amount of butter, but the bread had grown, right? It was not so easy. My schedule was mainly about traveling from here to there, doing a short, complex thing, then another thing, and then another thing like that, and so on. But people were friendly, and modern technology and so on also worked. You could get to people everywhere. You could follow things. It was just what the explosion of communication happened just in those years. Right? People got an iPhone in their pockets, and all these different things. That's what make it possible. Otherwise it would have been trouble. But with the different people coming and excellent work of the people living there and so on, then we actually managed to get a good thing out of it. Also, yeah, it simply is a good place.
Mm-hmm.
It's strategic, it's good, it fits exactly as it should. Of course, the whole work has also been excellent for getting the nations together. Right? After we lost our place in Sweden, in the woods in Sweden, then after that, then naturally the eyes went south, and that's also where we had the best market. The best people were there. Scandinavians, I think, very interesting. Spirituality, you write that with a Q or with an F or whatever, right? I mean, it's not something we have a lot to do with, right? It's not. We had Kierkegaard, we had a couple of others, but we're sort of looking here and now and feeling happy, and if the food fits and the heart has peace, and everything is nice and so on, right? So we don't have that push. So for real extension, we would have to go well, and then also our easy atmosphere, which of course means that people can be very deep inside and very normal outside, right? Or very relaxed and easy outside, and that's one thing we're very good at, right? Holding bonds, holding human bonds. There we are very, very good. There's so many, if you look at the sagas, if you look, wherever you look, many places, you hear about all the people putting a knife in each other's backs, but with us, in Scandinavian, with our sagas, that's, no, it was about staying with your people, protecting your people, holding on and so on. That's a very big strength we have, we're tough in that way. We are tough inside, and it's probably that we don't want to get too embarrassed by looking too holy or something like that. That's one thing, because it's a transparent culture, and whatever people do, people won't say something, right, and so on. So that's probably, if I look at it really, that's the main reason, right? That's really, so we're not much outgoing religiousness, but actually we probably have a higher percentage of people who came during the first years who are still coming today than more or less most other places, really most other places I know. So it's a strength we have, but this strength was more inspiring in the south than in the north. So getting over at that time, there were no bridges, but getting on the ferry boat and down to Sweden, down to northern Germany, then very quickly we had Hamburg, of course, with a group that only they changed all the time. Depending on which school was in town, they changed a bit. And so on. Then we had Lübeck, which was quite solid right from the beginning, and Hamburg, of course, is a colossus, an enormous thing now. And then further down, and so on. But also it was more people of our kind, a little tired, and fighting a hard climate and everything like that. And then when you got further down and through Europe, then it became more flowers and dreams and stuff like that. It became more technical also, a lot of the things and so on. So it was very good. We had that basis for bringing the two places together, and that was Lolland. Mm-hmm. The more flowery southern culture, the more open culture we have, or the more, cold checking, but no, deep culture also we have. It was very good for that. Big function. We still have that function there today. People they come over with the boat or the ferry, and get drive up and stop for a while and see whatever is there and so on, and then they go on, and that's beautiful.
It's happening exactly what you're saying with the old guys happening back. You just have your arm there for 3 weeks.
Yeah. People come through, you know. I mean, the bonds we make are deep and strong, and they are over the idea. All cultures, in order to protect themselves, they have family bonds, right? They have family bonds, you know, that your uncle and I must count on you and you can count on me and so on. But it's to a very high degree, it went beyond that and went into, I think like that. I got that initiation together with you. I learned that. And that is really important that we have that. That gives us a big blessing for our work.
I don't know if this will be in the movie, but last year this Naka Queen was put near the pond, and now there's a waterfall running. I don't know if you could say a few words about.
Also, you know, because now in Scandinavia, women actually have very important jobs in nearly everything happening, right? It really is. It's not so much male culture. The males go out, clear the room, and then clear the space. And then when the space is cleared, you know, the women come in and build and do and so on. You know, it's very nice. And we also have that there. We have the stupa, which is quite a male thing on the one side of the house, and then we have the water queen, you know, on the other side, you know, which was also nicely made and which I blessed myself and which I think is a very good place. You get around it without standing in mud to your knees, you know, you can manage it. Then you can actually feel, and you can put a few good wishes also that it'll go well. So it was nice. I like that.
You remember, as in we have finished, but you remember Ole, that 200 meters from our center, they found the biggest Viking treasures of Europe, and it is said that this area was like the biggest Viking place in Europe.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it goes back, you know, it goes back a long time. I felt that I had a contact with King Sven, with Holger the Dane, his contact up towards the north, and King Sven, you know, he is from there, and I had a contact with him right at the ending of our land, you know, our land ends, you know, and where the trees are growing and everything there, where we used to climb up at parties and so on. Yeah, at that time, you know, I had a feeling there's a protection on both sides, that there is a very good blessing from north and south, you know, taking care of the place. And so it was a good thing. And yes, and of course, I mean, we had come over there and so many things. But what were you saying? Yeah, no, you remember? Yeah. What was?
About this big Viking place.
Yeah. Yes. And as they say, they found a Viking place, and of course, the Vikings had different ideas when they were back home. It was Thor and Wotan, Odin, and Frey and Frigg and the others, you know, and Heimdall and Gunmur and whatever they were all called, right? They were the ones that were the important ones at home. But then when they had traveled a few 100 kilometers down in their boats and burned a few towns and stolen a few things, you know, then they would stand that there was other gods there. Then they think, then the local gods are probably better here. Then they would give something to them, and then they were all the way inside the Mediterranean, you know. They took the towns, you know, and left something for the local gods, you know, and stuff like that, the whole way. So the gods were seen as being very local at that time. So it's interesting, like with us here, that a few hundred meters from where we are now, they found a collection place for Vikings with all kinds of things left over and so on that nature hadn't destroyed and time hadn't destroyed. So I think there's 1100, 1200 years, you know, I mean, that's quite a lot of time. So yeah. They haven't finished digging, have they?
No, but I mean, it's in general actually that this area of Lolland
was being used.
Quite special for this.
sure.
And also compared to other places in Europe, it's very special because you have the Viking houses or Viking, very close by each other. So somehow this
trading place or nearly a town.
Rødby Havn is called Rødby for Rødby.
Rødby cleans the town from which appear
when
from.
they came with the boats.
Yeah.
So they were cleaning the forest actually for making a town. Yeah?
Excellent.
So it's really like
it was
to dig into the history there. It's really many interesting stories.
Vikings went very well until they got lazy. Then they started robbing each other instead of sailing a long way to rob the other. So it's foreigners, right? So then the Viking time went down. Laziness.
It sounded like that was the unique thing about Lolland was that they cooperated.
Yeah.
Because it was the densest Viking settlement anywhere. The villages were much closer together, which sort of suggests that they were maybe cooperating a bit more than other places. Yeah.
And if they did that before they saw the south, or did that after they saw the south,
Don't know what the times were.
They were quick at learning. One thing was so amazing with them, they had swords that would definitely weigh about 10 kilos. I saw them at the exhibition in London, the big Viking exhibition they had in London. And I mean, they were really solid steel, well, not very good steel, right? I mean, more iron, and probably bending. Every second enemy, you have to get it straight again. Well, but there, I noticed that they must have been exceedingly strong, because the place where they held, this should be a normal Danish hand today, and the place where they were holding the sword would be like 2.5 fingers, not more than that. And how they could do that with those small hands and still fighting, they must have been very tough, very strong, very trained, right? Amazing, yeah.
Done?
Yeah. Whatever you can use, you use, right? And all the best. Then after that, more and more good people came, and we got a very nice Kumba. Very, very fine Kumba. Everybody putting their things together and so on. Really great. And we, today then, well, it's our Sunday meeting place, right? Place for meditating and everything. It's good.
And it's one of the places where we have a stupa that was actually inaugurated by Tenga Rinpoche, and now because it was going down. There was one Jens, a student of Thai Situ Rinpoche, of Situpa, who climbed on the top and violently attacked it with his hammer. And they could not take him down. The police came, the fire brigade came, and they finally they called his parents. That was in 86. He was the main student of Situ Rinpoche. And the parents came say, "Yes, come down." And he came down. He was carried down. And then that was Lama Tashi. Lolland has such an amazing history. And he was afraid that he will return to destroy more. So Tashi was making like some traps around the stupa with strings, I don't know, minefields or something like that. That Jens could not reach the stupa. I would be wounded on his way to destroy more. It's part of our history.
Wonderful. And how is it nice? No, that's very nice. Places you live, when you were there, how nice. Right? It's a bridge from Germans, wanting to see more of the world, they can then just hop over there and look at our place in the south, right? So that's very good. It's a really good uniting place. It's really worked very well. So, yeah, and I think you're building some new cottages there on our land, right? We don't take the area on the other side. It's too much, too complicated, too expensive, and that won't work. But we will build on our side and we'll gradually find more land there on that one. Actually, the road going there is really dangerous. You come around there, you pass through the house, pass through the house to the right, and you keep your foot down, you can take a whole kindergarten along, before you take your car stop, right? So I think it's very good that we protect that place so we don't get involved with the next thing, because there will be security people, there'll be a lot of things there. But then we keep working on what we have. Also, it's complicated and the things are not so healthy. The wood is not so healthy. It'd be a big hole in our economy, if we have to fix the house on the other side, or the houses, right? So I think that's a good idea not to get too deep into water there. Right? Travel life, it should be attractive to the Germans coming over the ocean, or looking at what's happening and stuff like that. It should be really attractive for there, and it should be also good for everyone. Right? We should make sure that people can always feel at home there, that they have meet with a very good style of people, that they get chances to do things, and work and so on. And lots of good things. Yeah. Rugby is a good place. It's a fantastic place. It's a very, very nice place and so on. We have a lot of centers now. We have more than 700 around the world, which is a lot when you look at it from the perspective we are talking now. And the differences between the different cultures, and social relationships and so on. This is very quiet, very held, very peaceful place in the middle of a lot of energies going in all directions and so on, which we have to. And this means you should think of yourselves as examples. You're we are one of the first places, that were grounded, right? Karmapa, the 16th Karmapa was here, and he said 1,000 Buddhas will fly from the skies here and stuff like that. And he was not joking. He did crown ceremonies there. He did everything like that. And Karmapa was the ultimate heavy bazooka that we had, right? Like that. So wherever we look, this is what we should think of. This place has been honored by so many really masterful yogis, like Karl Rinpoche was here, Chenka Rinpoche was here, everybody was here.
He loved Lolland.
We brought everybody down there, for this place to build up the finest, purest, most meaningful, and most enjoyable of all places. There is no place that has, even Karmapa, Copenhagen and would do it together, right? Put the Lolland together. So it was, but except for that, we are very gifted. We have we made sure, Hannah and myself, a few other friends, make sure that the people went down to Rugby. We've had mad people with hammers trying to destroy the sloop. We rebuilt it. We've done all kinds of things, right? But this is an important place. And also for Denmark, if you look at it, it used to be under the ocean. It really was, they did some things and they built to grow and stuff like that. And now we have a place, right? So if we really look at it, it is something special. We should keep it clean. We should think ourselves that we are like taking care of something. So really.